That's the enjoyment of the experience, but it also keeps you insulated from the ground. There's a significant amount of heat loss to the ground, and comfort and warmth basically is what they help you achieve.
You brought a tent out here for us. Tell me why you chose this tent as a good family tent for camping.
We chose this one because it's spacious enough to be very comfortable for 3 or 4 people, but it's also still light enough to do canoe camping. So it gives you the option of being comfortable in a larger tent for car camping, but also light enough to be able to carry in to somewhere like Algonquin if you're doing a canoe trip or a backpacking trip.
In terms of the way that the tent is set up, what are you looking for if you're going to buy a tent? What are you looking for in terms of the way it's built?
Well, we're probably going to find out today in a little bit. The biggest difference between skipping on a tent and spending the money that you should on a tent comes down to one word, and that's rain. And the tents, all the tents come in 2 parts: the fly and the body. And the fly is the part that protects you from the rain. You want a tent that has a full coverage fly, so protection all the way around. You want the fly to go all the way to the ground. And
people won't know what a fly is necessarily.
Yeah, it's the tarp that goes over top of the tent, sorry. And you want it to have full coverage all the way down to the ground on the side to make sure that no rain is getting in and that you're comfortable.
And how do you choose a sleeping bag?
Sleeping bag, you want to choose something, again, depending on the type of camping you're doing. We usually divide or categorize people according to what type of camping they're doing, either car camping, backpacking, or canoeing, or a combination of any of those. You want in a sleeping bag something that's going to be relatively lightweight and packable, especially if you're doing a backpacking trip. You want it to have enough space for you to move around, and obviously you want it to have the appropriate temperature rating, again, depending on where you're going, to keep you warm in even the coldest August nights.
And you brought a backpack for us over there. What do you look for in a backpack?
The biggest thing with a backpack is, and where you really will find that where you can spend the money, is on the suspension system, the strapping, the waist belt, the shoulder straps, and then yeah, lots of space to carry all your gear.
Great, and obviously this is the bare minimum. In just a short little while, we're going to show you some of the extra things that you can buy so that you don't really feel like you're roughing it. Mike?
Thanks, Natalie.
We've gone from the very basics here, and I think now we'll move into the stuff that makes camping a little bit more enjoyable and an experience.
And you set up a tarp for us here. Why would someone want to get a tarp if they're going camping?
Yeah, I think you spend, particularly if the weather's inclement, you spend a lot of time in the tent. It's nice to be able to, once you wake up and you're done being in the tent, to enjoy a coffee or a meal underneath a tarp, protected, again, especially if either you've got hot sun or rain.
And I guess a lot of people don't realize that until they go camping and realize they spent all their time in the tent.
Absolutely, yeah. No matter how comfortable the tent is, tents can get pretty small pretty quickly, especially if you've got kids with lots of energy who want to get out and move around.
And what about the chairs? You brought a bunch of chairs with you.
Absolutely. Do you want to have a seat on the couch? These items,
That's actually pretty comfortable.
Yeah, the collapsible chairs are usually best for car camping. They tend to be a little bit, these particular ones are a little bit heavier and bulkier for backpacking or canoeing, but we certainly have a huge array of camp furniture for all shapes and sizes and for all purposes, absolutely.
We're missing a coffee, though.
That's right, exactly. This one has a space for a drink on both sides, coffee or something cooler and more refreshing. And
it's not just instant coffee.
No, absolutely not these days.
There's a coffee maker.
We've got all sorts of luxury items over here, I guess you'd call it. This one's called a Java Press coffee maker from GSI. They make them in 2 sizes. We carry a whole array of percolators and things like this, again, to make your stay a little bit more enjoyable. Instant coffee's nice, but nothing like brewing your own.
So what other things do you need? Obviously a stove, I guess.
Absolutely. Stove is one of your essential pieces of equipment. And we've got, again, a whole array of stoves. You can go from something like a double burner Coleman stove, which are a little bit heavier, good for car camping, to something a little bit lighter, again from Coleman, called the Feather 400. It's one of the easiest stoves on the market to use, is relatively compact and lightweight, and is good for a variety of different types of camping.
Great.
Yeah.
And you've got other, I mean, do people really use the plates and the utensils, or do you usually eat out of a cup when you're camping?
I guess you can rough it and eat out of the actual pots, but this stuff is made of what's called Lexan. It's a really durable substance that's pretty bomb-proof. Bomb-proof is a word we use a lot in camping, but just makes, again, a little bit more enjoyable than everybody eating out of the same pot.
And you've been camping for a long time, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. I started camping a long time ago, probably formally when I was about 8 or 9 years old at Camp Domingo, and I've got 3 older brothers with them and also my father.
Like Survivor, is there a luxury item that you can't do without?
It's a bit of a boring one, but yeah, books. I always end up bringing way too many books, but to me, the epitome of luxury, absolutely. I guess you got to choose your books wisely, but yeah, the epitome of luxury to me is sitting back in a comfortable chair with a cold drink and reading a good book.
I noticed you brought some pre-packaged food here. I guess it's pre-made or whatever. Are they any good?
Yeah, absolutely. They've come a long way in the past few years. You obviously
that doesn't sound right. Northern Casserole does not sound very good.
It sounds like it's got sustenance. You want to bring a certain amount of fresh food with you, but dried food is definitely going to be essential the further you go into the bush.
Okay. Obviously, another very important thing is safety, and we're going to get to that in a little while, especially for novice campers. Back to you, Mike.
His primary concerns is going to keep your body hydrated, so you want to have a filter to go along with you. The other thing too is you're going to be getting into just basic essentials like your compass, your knife, your whistle, and you can just go ahead and blow on that if you have any trouble. So that's a pretty loud one, that one, the Fox 40.
And we've had a lot of concern in Eastern Ontario from campers and hikers, that kind of thing, from bears. Is there something you can do to bring with you if you encounter a bear?
Yeah, proactive approach is just to be carrying a bear bell everywhere you go, and you'll put that on your backpack or your shoes or something like that. And that way the bear will know that you're coming. The other thing too is your pepper spray, and that will also act as a bear deterrent as well for you.
Obviously a first aid kit as well.
Yep. You always want to carry the first aid kit, and if you have some kind of certifications, then that's even better for you as well.
Great, thank you very much.
Not a problem.